Halo. Ooh, so we'll save the we're gonna do a rating for the entire first season at the end. So this one's only gonna be 8 and 9, and we'll kind of do it as one big thing.
What did you think about it though? I want to know what you thought about Halo. Episode 8 and 9 were big, full of stuff
Intense.
episodes.
Intense. Man. I liked it. I liked it. I'm curious where season 2 is gonna go with everything that happened, but just 8.
I feel like you have to separate it. So because 8 is when I didn't see Master Chief and Mackie becoming, like
there's that.
girlfriend, lovers, and I was like, whoa, okay. This is where we're going with this. Okay.
Well, it was interesting seeing Mackie like legit actually like turn sides.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like she gave up her magic fingernail.
She literally pulled it out, and it's like, for him, I will do whatever. Like, wow. I was
like they actually had a bond.
Like 18 years of torture and being told that this is the one thing you're gonna do, and she just turned her back on all of that just for him. Like, wow, that's intense.
Yeah. See, they're saying like episode 7 and 8 didn't exist. I gotta disagree with episode 8. Episode 7, you could throw that in the trash.
It literally had nothing to do with anything else. No one seeing that episode affect nothing to in the end. At the end of the day, 8 had a lot of crap. 8 and 9 are almost like hand in hand. You have to have 8 with 9.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, I don't want to say it sets it up because obviously it's a series, so the previous episode supposed to set up the next episode.
I would say episode
7 didn't, but 8 it like had it made Mackie and John. See, I don't want to say Master Chief because he's not the Master Chief when you think of Master Chief. He's John,
but he might be turning into that now.
Yep. But John and Mackie were their relationship. I'm like, well, what's gonna happen? And then that random sex scene.
Yeah, I was like,
what? And then on top of that, like Cortana's watching, and then Halsey's watching. I was like, oh, geez,
this is some crazy stuff, man. Like this is some all right.
Yeah.
But Cortana, I thought that was interesting because she was looking on. It seemed like she was both jealous because Mackie was with John, but also jealous of that human connection. And I think that has a lot to say about Cortana. Even going into the next season with Master Chief, I think Cortana will do whatever she can to save John's self, his identity. That he is the special specimen. He is the reason everything works, which was exactly what happened in episode 9 when Cortana took over. Spoiler alert, sorry, Cortana took over his body. That was bad, but when she went and grabbed the artifact and nothing happened.
That's when Kai was like, "Don't touch it," and then he grabbed it. She's like, "Hold up!" Like she knew, she knew something different. And then I just loved episode 9 with all the video gamey kind of stuff, like you saw from the HUD, and I'm like, but it worked. It worked because there was parts where like it like zoomed out, so you were like seeing from John's point of view, and you had the HUD like not like the video game, but like a video game. And then like it zoomed out, and then you saw it from Kai looking at John and them fighting.
I thought that was pretty they might have saved everything with this episode 9. Like they saved the whole complaining about it not being like the game with episode 8 and 9.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's not like the game because it's a different story. Even the creator of the game, I don't know, you saw it came out.
Yeah,
he goes, this is not Halo. This isn't the story I made, which I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm like, it's complete. I mean, and they made a character. Mackie, I believe, is a brand new character they made for the show. So Yeah, and Derpy said, "I'll admit the budget was well done, but for story wise, it was different. I liked it, and I'm not hyped for season 2. I'm optimistic." Okay,
But literally, I think season 2 could be all Master Chief.
yeah,
Almost no John. All just him with his helmet on the entire time, being more of a space exploration about him literally following the Halo and fighting this war. Everything changes. So they could be more like closer to how the video games are. For say they do for 3 episodes. And then Cortana saves enough of John's consciousness because they need him, and then they could going on with the story. Because I think now, because of this whole season, you need John somewhere in there now. Because it is different. It is totally different. So you will need him, his consciousness somewhere. And he's awoken all the other Spartans, basically.
Yeah. Well, that was one issue that I had with this season 9 or episode 9 was they don't tell you if the other two remove their chips.
I don't think they remove their chips. I just think that they don't have the same feelings. Like I think that this is a perfect line. So Kai was talking to Vincent. What was his name?
Vanek and Riz.
Yeah. So she was Kai was talking to Vanek, and he said, she was like, "Man, you really gonna shoot me?" He was like, "Yeah, I was." And then he was like, "What are you talking about? You would have shot me too." And she was like, "Yeah, but I would have felt bad about it." That's all. That's all it is. He's like, yeah, I'm still the same person, but yeah, I just would have felt bad.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. I mean, the story is different, but at least maybe with this, the way they set it up, the Spartans could be closer together. Because as of right now, they're just almost 4. Vanek and what's her name?
I think it's Riz.
Riz. Vanek and Riz are closer together, and you see Kai and John are closer together. But maybe it could become more of a team. But what was cool is that Vanek was, when he's grabbing those weapons, and it actually looked like the Halo game. That was really cool, like the up close weapon that you always have. That was cool.
Was that a line? So there was a part in episode 9 where Kai says something, and then Master Chief was like, he goes, "Hey, stop it." And I'm like, was that a line from the video game? I didn't play the video games enough to remember, but it seemed like a corny video game line. Like after you kill somebody.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot exactly what she said. I should have wrote it down, but
yeah.
I was watching it on my lunch day.
Yeah, I watched it at 6 o'clock in the morning this morning.
Yeah.
I was like,
like you have your TV automatically turn on to it.
No, so I was like up at like 5:45. I was like, I could go back to sleep, or I could go watch Halo. And I went downstairs to watch Halo.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, no, I mean, I like Derpy said you don't like episode 8. I liked episode 8 because it connected Mackie and John, I think, to a sense that it explained like they were kind of bonded somehow because they were both the blessed ones.
I felt like it connected Cortana to John too. Cortana made a specific choice now, and she chose John. And that gave them a better connection and made me enjoy that a little bit more, which is going to set up the next season. Cortana is not just a mindless whatever drone. She's not just trying to take over John's body. She is going to be there to be helped, like she said she was now. They have a good connection to each other.
Yeah. I like that. I wonder because she can feel, right? Like things he can feel. You know what I'm getting at, right? So I was like, did she kind of like understand things? I mean, like, but also just like on a human level, seeing like two people fall in love with each other the way that they kind of did, over like a bond that they had, that's kind of like you can't really explain stuff like that, and she's a computer, so it's like Like
she got to
what?
experience it at the most basic level because she was there. Like it's almost like first person, but you can't actually do anything or deal with anything, but you're seeing it from that point of view. So I think
Yeah,
that was special for her,
yeah.
and probably the most human connection that she's ever seen. And her connection now with John is even stronger. But I also don't know if she is. I tell you, it felt like she was jealous of Mackie too.
I can see that a
You
little
know,
bit. Like
like
she's kind of like,
that should be our
I love
connection.
John.
Exactly, I love John too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Which I think they might get there. I feel maybe see, but I think it's gonna be a different kind of like love, not a romantic love, or it might be
I
for
don't know,
Cortana, but not for John.
and
Kind
that
of,
with Cortana's gonna. I think her whole thing is gonna be like she brings John back. Say it's like episode 3. She brings John back because she figures out how to do it, and her whole point now is to figure out to get into a body that could be opposite of John, so she
oh,
could be with John. That's her whole mo. She wants to
mm,
get to that. Like Tinkerbell. Oh, my only wish is to be big enough to have these big people with emotions. You know,
yeah.
that's how I
That
feel like that's going to happen.
that's interesting because you can go like evil route kind of with that. Like she has good intentions, but she starts doing like evil shit. Because Halsey was doing evil shit.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you can go somewhere like that route where she might be, I won't say the bad guy, but might
As
be
long as Halsey's around,
okay.
I don't know if she would be the bad guy because she sees a Halsey who looks just like her doing evil crap. So it's hard for her to be that evil. Um,
Yeah.
but if
Oh, but
Halsey's not
yeah.
around, because Halsey found a way out of all this stuff, cloned herself again,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and threw the clone out the door. Like, hey, yeah, you're the one that's going to take the punishment of everything, and I'll be out on the run still.
That's interesting though that you said like Cortana's gonna want to go look for a body.
Mhm.
How many clones does Halsey have where can Cortana go into an unawakened clone and awaken as the main consciousness or something like that?
How would John feel about a clone of Halsey, even though it is Cortana, but Halsey kind of raised him as his mom, so that's like some real incest
What was
type
that?
stuff.
What is it? What the fuck is it? Rex. I was Optimus. Otimus Rex. The one
Adonis,
where
Adonis
yeah,
Rex.
Adonis
Yeah,
Rex.
yeah.
That kind of story ish. Well, obviously he doesn't kill his dad, but
I was sitting thinking about. Let's keep us in the family. All right.
yeah, right.
And Johnson was like,
Yeah,
no, that's not right. Why? Because you look like my mother. Not just look like her, you are the embodiment of
are
my mother,
you are
even though you
physically?
are Cortana. I
Yeah,
can mentally understand that you're different, but that's because we could be friends. But you want me to go past that level? That might be a problem.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's gonna
is
interesting.
Maki dead?
I think so. Which would kind of be sucky because I enjoyed her, and I don't think we got enough of her, and we got a lot of Quan.
Oh my
And everybody hated Quan. Like
And
all the
she made
reviews
no
I was
sense.
listening to and watching.
It made no sense for her to be there. And we have a season finale, and she had nothing to do with it. So
Yeah,
why the hell do we have episode 7?
yeah. That could have easily been the beginning part of episode 8 or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I like her. I like her. I think her character is kind of interesting because she went from being human and being like
She
no,
was
like
human.
basically like a slave
Yeah, humans
to
treated her
like this
like
planet.
garbage.
Yeah, like trash. And then they
And
get her, but then they just use her too. But they at least they feed her and keep her healthy and shit.
but you
But
realize everything would have went fine for the humans if General whatever didn't torture her with that shotgun. If she just
seriously,
if she just listened to her for a second or even like arrested her, like
mhm.
none of that would have been a problem.
I know. I hate that. It's also like she's like, I didn't have a choice. And she goes, oh, you're going to pay for it. I was like, she literally didn't have a choice. They literally kidnapped her and brainwashed her. And now you're like, oh, you're going to pay for that. I was like, I hate when they do, little stupid shit like that. Pew, 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 Star Wars Celebration predictions. Pew, pew. We'll get there in a few minutes. We'll talk Star Wars in a little bit.
So Halo season 2 has already been confirmed.
Nice.
Halo Combat will be like what is pretty much what's going to follow.
Not sure.
Huh. That's interesting. And it's going to deal with Madrigal, so that's why we had Quan. But couldn't you just wait until season 2?
I mean, I guess you gotta you have to at least tie that up a little bit. You have to tie that story to get it to the point where season 2, because otherwise you're gonna wait a whole season to get to the end of her story kind of thing. I don't know. I could take her. I could take it or leave that. Mostly leave that story. Not that big.
What about the fact that Halsey made it? What do you do then? I mean, are they going to find her? Is she going to go with the Covenant and work with the Covenant, or she's going to be her own?
Yeah, she's just going to be like a third party dealing with it now, because I think she still knows info and has info that is going to be critical to the humans winning, the war. So, but she has like her own agenda where she's like, she keeps saying like pushing human to, force them into the next evolution. Like she said that a few times this season. So I was like, what does that mean?
And then the general was like, at what cost? She was like, at any cost. Your daughter, the relationship with him,
I know,
John, everything. She just, I mean, you ever see be around a woman who's that's driven? That's driven so much that everything she does is like toxic.
Mm-hmm.
That's who she is, and because she's the main antagonistic character. Like she has to be around. You can't get rid of Dr. Halsey. You can't, because she's smarter than everyone else around her, and she developed the whole story. This whole problem she developed. Now, what's going to happen when John comes back and they have to look and deal with the fact that he was kidnapped? So they didn't just kidnap these kids; they cloned them and gave it back to their parents,
and then died, and then like forced his parents. That was
watch them die, just like you saw with Dr. Halsey.
Yeah. Well, they're saying Halsey's is his favorite character out of all of them.
I mean, that's not a bad choice. That's not a bad choice.
She's the most complex, and I think she has the most depth, because you don't know what her end game is. The Covenant, you know what their end game is. You know what the USNF, you know what their end game is. I don't know what her purpose of it all is, because it seems like she wants to win, but it's like
she's Thanos.
She wants to do it her way. Yeah, right.
She's Thanos. That's what she is. Once again, I told you, good villains. They look at something in a warped view. But everything they see, you can't combat what they're saying, because what they're saying makes sense. Just the way they go about it. That's what makes an unbelievable villain, and that's what makes a great character, and that's what Halsey is.
Yeah.
Here's my question: what does Dr. Keyes do? Because it seemed like Dr. Keyes was going towards, maybe I'm going to be more like my mother.
Until the end, right there at the end.
Right, I think right at the end, that's when she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now.
No. Well, she's pissed at her dad because find that out. So I don't know. I think she's going to be more leery of everybody, and I think she's going to be more on the side with Master Chief and the Spartan. I think, like, oh, you guys are the only ones that are fighting the battle for the right reasons. You know, yeah.
I mean,
You know,
she
so
has that connection with Kai, so that's good.
he said, "F that Emerald," though F that bleep, you know who. Oh,
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. That's I hate when they do that in TV shows. It's like, oh, you didn't have a choice. I don't care. Like, because the same thing
all right.
you do about every soldier. Like Master Chief.
Mhm.
It's
He's
like
done bad
he
things,
didn't have a choice.
especially when they're controlling him. They done things since he was from birth. They put a chip inside of him, and you want to hold him responsible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did the Illuminati hold Wanda responsible for killing? Oh, wait a minute, she killed them all.
Wow, wow, wow. Oh, we'll talk about that after this a little bit because there's some other stuff that came up I want to talk about. But yeah, my only concern is I'm afraid they're gonna get too clone happy in season 2. And it's gonna be kind of annoying if they do that. Where like, oh, this is not the real Halsey, is another clone, and another clone, and another clone. I was like, I hope they don't do that. But that's an easy out that could be very annoying for a lot of problems. Because that was like an easy out for the problem that they had here. Where they're like, oh, we can still tell Halsey's story with her daughter, but then have an easy out, and then Halsey can still be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't mind it, but when you do it too much, then I think it gets like you can see it coming, and you're like, all right, I've seen it before. I hope they don't do it, but they could, and I'm kind of worried.
I just want to know what's going to happen with Cortana. And because of Cortana being like who she is, I think if John is coming back, I think Mackie, whatever her name is probably going to come back somehow. Because they left his love life, John's love life, just kind of in ruins. It's a weird
short-lived.
triangle, like a man who's in love with himself because the person who's there is also his mind who loves him, and he has a very weird relationship with his mom. And I mean, that's just it's a very strange, relationship.
Yeah. Although I could see because they left Mackie at the planet, I could see the Covenant like finding a way to revive her,
But they
or clone her.
They were ready to sacrifice her at any point.
Yeah, but they needed her. They were gonna basically kill her after she did her job, and they're like, "You're done," which is fucked up. Like
now they're like, okay, well, half the map is not working, so we got to do something about it.
Like, good thing she didn't know about our plan yet. So if they bring her back, but yeah. But I feel bad.
Admiral, though the father was great, supporting character. Same for the daughter. I forget the names, but you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, definitely know. It's a Dr. Keys. I keep on forgetting what the Admiral is. And he admitted to everybody about everything. He's like, I was complicit in this. I helped her do these things. I thought that was unbelievable. He did that right at the time, knowing that John could go crazy and just like kill him. These Spartans are like, it doesn't take much to kill them.
Yeah. Okay. So I know I want to get to the end of this real quick. Were you upset as much as I was when Kai broke into the plane, was super badass, and then she takes off her helmet? I'm like, why? Why do you give them a place? They're like, you can't shoot me, but here you can shoot me here. It was like, why? And then obviously, then she killed the dude, which I was like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming.
I mean, she just went dead.
Yeah. I mean, probably wasn't too hard for her to do. But also, yeah, it was just like, I'm like, why take off your helmet? I was like, it's like you are literally impenetrable. You have a full head.
But was that kind of the point, though? I feel like that was the point that you wanted to see their face. She wanted to see the face. Ever since he lost the chip, that's what was going on. I just didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's Dr. Keys, and then it's Captain Keys.
Yeah.
The father and daughter. So that makes sense.
Well, so it's Jacob Keys. Jacob Keys is the Admiral, and then you got Dr. Miranda Keys.
But I was just kind of upset. Like, I wonder why he didn't say, when he had the gun pointed to his face, when Vanek had the gun pointed to his face, why not bring up Soren? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we can live a life out of this. In fact, one of our brothers, Soren, is doing that. I don't know.
Because then he knows. I think that they'll know that he let him go.
Captain Crunch.
Because as far as they know, Soren got away and John tried to chase him down. So
yeah.
As of right now, they need to, until they remove their chips, it's kind of all hush hush. You can't say everything you want to say.
Yeah.
But I will say this: it was pretty badass that when Kai jumped off the ship and still was able to live, pulled herself up.
Yeah. That was, I knew that was gonna happen. I'm like, all right, they're gonna do it. And they did it. I was like, or you're gonna see like another ship. I'm like, you tell me that whole ship only had one like escape pod? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that whole ship had one escape pod.
Oh no, she's in the escape pod. I was like, why don't you just take the guns and shoot it?
Yeah, right.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, man. Anything else like episode 9 before we get into like our whole season 1 rating? Or season 9 or 8?
Do you think John would have saved Maki, that he would have brought her onto the ship if he was in control?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Do you think Cortana then did it on purpose? Left her out there?
Ooh. That's a good one. Because she can easily say, like, there was no physical way. If you wanted to save the Spartans, we had to leave her. But if she is jealous, like how you're saying, you could be like, she's already dead.
Yeah, let's. Did you check the pulse? No, just look at her. She's dead.
She's trying to get up. No, she's not. That's this is one of those twitches.
You kick them like, no, she's dead. Look at her.
Yeah. So that's a good question. I mean, we'll find out next season if we're doing well, because like you said, Cortana's gonna be very interesting next season. Is she gonna have that what's that? Well, it's kind of a trope where like a robot wants to become human and kind of like was willing to kill everybody to become a human. So is she gonna kind of?
I want to be a real boy. We're gonna see the Pinocchio episode. Basically, what it is that she was going to do whatever it takes to become a real girl.
Yeah,
and but first you got to bring John back.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be crazy if they do a whole second season of just in the helmet, not really talking.
You could do that. I mean, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
And then everyone looking at him like he's just a machine. Because he changed everyone around him, and then he changes back to where he was, and everyone's like, this is not John.
Yeah. Like Kai already knows at the end of that's the way it ended. So
we don't even know if it's Riz, what Riz is doing. I mean, all her body was like exposed. It's like,
that was crazy.
The solution was to burn it.
Yeah.
So,
she lived though.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of doing it.
Yeah. Just so like cold-blooded, like cold-hearted. Like, well, she wants to live, so we're gonna cauterize everything and.
Yeah. Well, once again, 6:30 in the morning, I was like, mute.
Yeah.